Hey everybody, it's Peacock here in Singapore, and I am so excited. It's like midnight right now, and I actually get to connect with one of my friends. She happens to be based out in South Africa, and I'm hoping she'll join me here in just a second. Let me just see if she's online. Here we go. So Tshepo, and she's based out of South Africa, and her business is actually she's a brand strategist, and she's in the business of being her best self. So she's a mentor out there with the University of Cape Town and taking care of lots of people. Why don't you say hi?
Hi.
How was your day?
It was actually a little bit crazy.
Oh no.
I the weather changed
Okay.
and it kind of rained, which I didn't expect. But then in Cape Town, you can have all four seasons in one day, so that's also possible. And
Okay. Good to know.
then kind of it kind of caught me off guard, and I was feeling a little bit feverish. But yeah,
Oh
you can
no.
see that I'm awake and up and about. So
You're
I'm
always up and
definitely
about. You're
busy.
always like nothing really keeps you down for long. You're always smiling. You always have this just cheery disposition. Always. I love that.
Yeah, it's very important.
It is. It's
It's
very
actually
important.
a decision you have to make, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It is. It comes with what you're focusing on and then how you're going to show up going forward, no matter what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
So tell me
I
a
think
little
you
bit
need
about
to.
your business, if you don't mind, so that the audience knows what you're working on, who you are, a little bit.
Okay. I basically focus on um, helping individuals build brands. It could be a personal brand, and it could be maybe a brand around a product or a service, but basically just branding so that you can support living the best life.
Okay.
You don't want to carry on being victimized. If you don't like what you're receiving, be the change that you want to see. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I know that you actually mentor a lot of students and you're helping people to realize that, yes, their life is in their own hands. They have it within themselves to change their lives if they so see fit. So how has that worked? Like, you've been doing that for a while though, right? Helping people to change their lives.
Definitely. I think I wasn't even doing it from a business perspective. You know, this is where I started to realize that firstly, as a person, people generally like to come to me for encouragement.
Yeah.
They like to come to me and ask me, okay, how would you tackle this? And it started off with when I was after I graduated, and I was
Okay.
busy focusing on my own sort of job hunt journey. And yes, my mind was set on, okay, I'm going to get a job and all of that. But in the meantime, people were coming to me and coming to me for help, and it was just so easy for me to give them strategies and ideas, because I could see with one person that, oh, this, why don't they just do this? This would be so
Right.
easy to do. But I started to realize that, okay, actually, they don't see it. I'm the one who sees it. So it must
Right.
mean that I actually have something to offer.
Of
And
course.
yes, yeah. And it kind of came like that. And those opportunities that come while you are busy focusing on what you kind of have in mind. And
Yeah.
then the situation forces you to realize that, okay, there's more people who are coming here, so it must mean there's more to this than what I realized. And then it started off with helping people with maybe people who didn't pass at school, or
Okay.
something went wrong somewhere, and I'm trying to show them how they can get back on track. So that's where the whole personal branding and career management strategies came about.
Exactly.
And then I would also see people who had maybe businesses as well,
Okay.
who I saw that, okay, this one has this kind of a brand concept. Why don't they just do this? If I were them and I was in their shoes, this is what I would do.
Right.
As I said, I didn't realize that this is what I would be doing, because it has absolutely nothing to do with what I studied.
And
So
that's what
that's
we've been talking about a lot lately, though. You and I have been talking a lot about that, how we do what we're told. There's like a pre-prescribed route to success according to our parents or the generations before us. But what we're finding is if we pursue the things that we love the most, we can find some way to kind of make that work for us as a business, or however we want to put that. So you being at the University of Cape Town and mentoring all these students, it seems like you seem to come into the same problems that I'm seeing here, meaning it's a global situation. Everyone pursues a degree, and then they find out they hate the degree, and they don't really want to work within that degree, and then they're stuck, they don't know what to do next.
Yes, definitely. It's sort of like the way the education system is kind of structured. You are kind of taught that you need to go and get a job, and
Yeah.
then now you can start. Then you're going to be secure. But having a degree doesn't even necessarily mean that you'll be successful. You actually need to understand whether that degree is maybe a tool set that you're supposed to use together with the unique combination of your personality, your strengths, things you're passionate about, maybe some kind of hardship or a series of ordeals that you went through, which kind of make you develop some kind of a passion, and you start seeing a bit of a niche and saying, okay, I can use the combination of this and this about myself
Exactly.
to start movement and make an impact. So you really need to look at yourself holistically, not just your degree. The degree
Yeah,
is
not just
just
education,
part
your
of
experience, the things you're drawn to, all of that stuff, right? Now, you and I, we met through a program called Crown to Success, and I had the chance to actually work with you a little bit and get to know you a little bit more. And we talked about the kind of courage it takes to kind of break away from what everyone is expecting us to do, for us to, pursue like a quality of life instead of just going through the motions, which a lot of us are doing at the moment. As far as courage is concerned, like when I talk to you, I know you're technically a brand strategist, but I feel like you deal in courage as well. You kind of pick people up, you help them see more than they see of themselves, you help them believe that there's more out there that they can actually achieve.
Yes, definitely. And it also involves, okay, on my side, I see that it's more from like a spiritual centeredness, yes, if I can
Yes.
call it that. And I do a lot of praying, and I spend time reflecting on myself and also what I'd like to see about people. I find that generally I don't know, I'm able to even pick up a lot of things about people that they don't even know about themselves. Just, if somebody has a facade going on, obviously it's so easy for me to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
But in terms of encouragement, yes, it's like everyone has what you call your motivational gifts. It's those things that motivate the very things that you do um, on a day-to-day basis. And as I said, there's more to one than just their degree. So being aware of your motivational gifts, if you're an encourager, naturally you'll be drawn to encouraging people. If you're somebody who is drawn to maybe always giving and maybe charitable or charitable ventures or philanthropy,
Mm-hmm.
then that is what you call a gift of mercy. So there are different kind of gifts. Some people naturally come in and take charge and take over.
Yeah.
This person is bossy, but then it's because in terms of their own motivational gift, it's you need to recognize that. And I think I took a test. I don't know if it's still there. Actually, it was online.
Okay.
Gifttest.org, where
Okay.
you could get profiling, and I learned this at first when I was in church, actually,
Okay.
many years ago. They said there's no cookie fitter and all. I mean, one size fits all when this is how one person is, and you start to learn that, okay, with those motivational gifts, if you're able to understand or know about them,
Right.
firstly, and then number two, it's easy for you to spot how someone else is, and then know that, oh, this one is this one is a ruler. They call it a ruler. And then you have one who needs to always need to be told what to do. It's not
Right.
that they need to always be told what to do. It's just that they tend to be those vision supporters. So
Right.
you need to maybe understand that, okay, this is where this person fits. So in terms of me, I learned that all of them, because apparently every person possesses these gifts, but they have maybe 3 of their top dominating ones.
Okay.
And then when I took the test, I found that I was high on all of them. It just depends on the situation, you know.
That's cool.
And so I realized that in all that I do, no matter what it is, it's always about, okay, let me empower someone. It could be through giving them information. It could be giving them ideas. It could be just giving them a word of encouragement.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I definitely do that. It's part and parcel of who I am.
And that's part of the things that I love about you. But even more than that, while you actually empower other people, you pass on that courage to other people, you use it in everyday life. You recently had a situation that you had to face someone, and not fun. I would have been scared to death. I don't know how you came out of it. Still cheery disposition and all, but would you tell everybody a little bit of what happened, if that's okay?
Okay, about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I was rushing to church actually with one of my mentees, and then we encountered a situation. There were 2 guys who were posed. They were posed as if one was having a problem and another one was sort of trying to lift the other, and you know, it didn't look that suspicious at all.
Right.
And we were just moving, rushing, carrying a whole lot of things because of the event that we were going to
right.
in church. It was a special event that had to do with, you know, career related things, and we had to bring points of contact or things that we use that represent our career and everything.
Okay.
And so the next thing when we just passed them, only to realize this was just a little setup, and these 2 guys just come out and then they surround us. And then they started, they took out knives, and everything was just happening so quickly there. And I saw that they wanted to take, they started actually charging at my mentee, while the other one rushed off to go behind me, so that we're completely surrounded. And then they went after me. They decided they want to go after me, and then they grabbed my bag. And I really don't even know what I can say happened there, because everything happened so quickly. But basically, I got stabbed. I didn't realize that I was stabbed. I just saw that, okay, my bag was grabbed and there was a lot of my work in the bag.
Yeah.
And I ran after them and I was screaming for help. And then people who were nearby came, a whole lot of people. And while they were trying to get away and run, I think they met a dead end somewhere, and they scattered, and one of the guys threw the bag back at me, but they had taken my cell phone. So I've also been forced to, you know, be offline. It changed a whole lot of things, but my life, I'm here. I thank God for that. Yes, I had to have my hand stitched, and I think I fell as well. I don't even realize where I fell, because I just saw myself up screaming and running after the people. But how I know that I fell is because I found that I was grazed on the knee. But I don't remember when that actually occurred.
Right.
And yes, I'm still going through a sort of the healing process with my hand, sort of getting back its functionality and all of that. And I mean, I'm right-handed, so it's really been hard, but I'm the one who's in charge, and there's no one who's going to dictate to me how life is going to be, regardless of what happened. So as you can see, I'm still smiling, and yes, I'm still
exactly, and that's part of that. And it didn't stop you. It maybe slowed you down a little bit, but didn't stop you. And I need people to understand that as soon as you decide you want to work for yourself, you want to do for yourself, there are going to be these little hurdles, these things that test you to see, okay, are you sure you really want to do this by yourself? And it's like people like you seem to find a way to keep on going no matter what. And I want everyone to know that if y'all can do it, we can do it. Like, all of us can do it. We have it within ourselves. We have to want it bad enough. So for you to continue your work, you know, mentoring people, for you to continue building your own brand while you're doing all of these things, while you're still healing, you mentioned you were right-handed, which means you probably can't write the way you used to before you're still healing and trying to figure that out. That's amazing to me. That takes a tremendous amount of courage to continue going on.
Definitely, and had to be innovative as well.
You
And
mentioned that.
use my left, try and think, okay, this might put a strain on my hand. Let me hold it like this, or But yes, we have to innovate and instigate the change that we want to see. Like really, I always say that as long as you're still alive,
Yeah.
then you still have the opportunity to bring about the change that you need. You can't accept defeat. The only thing is that yeah, like I said, if you're breathing, you still, that is your very opportunity. So do something.
Exactly. So with your own brand, is there anything else you're working on? Like, is there a product that you're getting ready to launch or anything that you're working on at the moment besides your on, I mean, you have a lot on your plate already, but I'm just curious, is there anything you're getting ready to launch?
Working on a number of things. Working on a book, no, two book anthologies.
Wow.
And working on an event, which I do believe that that you and I
I'm
are
excited
working
about the
on.
event. So, because I'm itching to talk about this.
That's gonna be happening next year.
Yes, ma'am.
What else? And then even a podcast coming along soon
Very good.
enough. And yes, those are just some of the things, yes, that I'm working on. So it's quite interesting. It's been quite a lot of work. There's setting up websites and
Yeah.
the content itself, so that you make sure that now when it's time for those things to be launched, then everything is in place so that it's not, oh, now is the time, let me start getting it
Right.
all done now. So yeah, that's
So for
basically
me, in particular, as I speak to people, as I go through life, I find different pieces of inspiration that actually help me with my own content creation. I know it's hard to sit down and really like, okay, let me put this work aside and work on my work. It's not like that. It's kind of all of it happens together. And I wonder, as you do your mentorship and things like that, do you get like bits of inspiration that you use for your own content creation?
You mean as I'm through,
Yeah.
as I'm busy interacting with others?
Yep. Everyday life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've also found that sometimes maybe we have had to pause or we're stuck somewhere in terms of how to proceed. By virtue of me being involved and helping someone, I'm able to get answers to some of the issues. So I always say that, contribute and sow seeds or plant seeds. By your giving is the one that will sort of unlock your access to the next level that you're trying to get to. And so if you find that you're stuck because no one is an island, those people around you have something to offer. Even if it's just that you had to give them a smile, they will say something, you'll get inspiration. It could be even just with your own child, you're talking to them
That happens a lot.
and then she'll say something and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I like what she just said. This is what I was busy wondering about. And it's one of the ways that God will be answering you, because
Exactly.
yes, as you help, because each of us are a solution to someone else's problem, then the more you're helping, the more you're opening up your own access to the next level, because those people are also connected to maybe linking you to some other people, and they won't have been exposed to that. To you, if you didn't step out and actually help, and then you
Exactly.
too, in terms of you getting connected, you won't have. So yeah, it's basically that. I do find that is definitely what happens. Inspiration is definitely there.
It does. And even then, like, I mean, you mentioned there is an event coming up next year that you and I are working on together. And even the process of like brainstorming to see what kind of event that would be and how we could help spread the word that you don't have to be stuck in wherever you are. You can change your circumstance if you so choose. It's like it's given me a lot of ideas moving forward as well. So I'm very excited to come out and see you next year. I'm very excited for the event that you're planning. Um, and I'm hoping that it kind of kickstarts, a movement around the world where people realize that with the amount of information we have, access to, there's no reason why you can't teach yourself whatever you need to learn, or fix whatever situation you find yourself stuck in.
Yeah, definitely. The whole opportunity to be able to collaborate so that you can catalyze your access to success is definitely the key, because yeah, that's basically what we're doing, isn't it?
Exactly.
um,
So
because
when you say this, go ahead,
I
sorry.
have my experiences with yours,
Yeah,
and as we do it and we put it together, it helps so many other people, and so that's the whole idea. And you find that when people are more open to that, instead of being well, self-focused, if I can put it that way, instead of
hmm
maybe heart-centered or service-centered rather,
yes,
um, then that's where you can see that you won't have to be stuck, because yeah, you're open to looking at other perspectives, and definitely your access being fast-tracked.
exactly. And I feel like, the more each of us connects to each other, if you tell your story and I tell my story, the more everyone around us hears what happened. It may be different situations altogether, but at least people will see, like, we had the courage to stand up and we were able to change it because we stood up. Everyone's so comfortable with doing what everyone else is doing that they're too scared to step out of what they're used to and to try and change their own situation. So I feel like the more we connect, the more we all network, the more we all tell our story, the better it gets for everyone.
Definitely, and it also allows you to meet a whole lot of people faster when you get to collaborate, which is one of the things I wanted to do. Actually, I wanted to be able to do that more with women,
Yeah.
particularly because I don't know, I found that having studied computer science in terms of my undergrad, that created some kind of issues for me, in the sense that okay, it's something that males tended to be doing. I
Okay.
remember that I used to work when the first job I got, I worked for a startup company, and I was the only female in the team,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was quite the experience. And sometimes you find that the dynamics. Somebody can be treating you in some kind of a condescending manner, like okay, because they have their view that okay, this one is smart, but they're not exactly saying that to you. You can
Right.
just see in the manner in which they talk to you and all of that. And so I was just saying to myself that you know what, I'm a woman, I'm always around men, and yes, I've definitely been in the boardroom, being the only female, not just with that. I've gone on to do that even as an entrepreneur, um, and definitely stake my ground, and definitely commanded my respect in there. So I'm happy about that. But I just wanted to be able to do that with women as well.
Yeah.
I think that it's too sad that women tend to maybe be competing with each other and not be
Yeah.
able to support each other, and it's so sad. And so for me, this is one of the things that I appreciate about you as well, because
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
just the kind of person you are, I can see that you're somebody who's real. Oh my gosh, it's so important in this life. There's too many people who go around with their facades, and I'm so tired of that. Authenticity is just
I don't have
so
the energy for
important and
that.
needed.
I'm too tired to pretend. It's too much to remember.
Yeah, that's true. Um, a friend of mine once said that when you that a lie is crippled, it always needs another lie to support
Yeah.
it.
And another, and it goes on, and you don't remember what the first one was.
And then it just becomes so complicated. So
It
we
does.
don't want to live a crippled life, basically.
I
So
like simple.
yeah,
I like simple a lot.
exactly. And authenticity really makes everything nice, so that everyone knows that okay, this is where I stand. I know that when I go to her, this is what I'm gonna get. And oh, I just love it. I think it's part of what makes life the best life to live, really.
It's a quality thing. I have plenty of people that would probably tell me everything I want to hear, but I really want to know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. I want someone to be honest and brave enough to tell me to my face if I'm screwing up, rather than I don't need compliments all day long. I want truth, and it's easier to grow when you have truth.
That's definitely true. I found that generally, though, I think from childhood, I found that that is what made me unpopular, because I've always been that person who, stood for what she believed in. And I couldn't do what everyone was doing just to try and fit in, because honestly speaking, I only know how to be myself. And so if by me being myself doesn't resonate with other people, then it means I'm not for them. And then
Yeah.
that's just what it is. But you know, you have to learn to just embrace who you are. And okay, it definitely takes courage to be yourself, to embrace your
Exactly.
unique self. Because yes, definitely you do get faced with rejection and all, but rejection doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's also indicative of those people who need to leave your life so that you too can also grow and you know, cultivate that space that will support you to become, you know, the best of who you're meant to be. And by having them around, you know, may not necessarily be the best thing. And so yeah, it just depends on how one chooses to look at things. Even with
Exactly.
the whole being mugged and stabbed,
Yeah.
I just decided
Which
that
is why I wanted you to
okay,
tell that story.
these people basically took things, my phone, it had my notes, it had a lot of things that I'd been busy preparing and all of that. And then just like that, that changes. Although I was going through it, and I still am, and I would find that I would get quite angry at times, because I was just wondering what makes them to decide that, you know, you're looking at someone and that, okay, this person is I'm going to forcibly take this from them. How do they even know? You know, these were the questions that were going on in my mind. How do they even know what I went through to even get the phone and all of that? To them, they just think that everything is just a walk in the park, you know, and it's not. So why can't they also fight and get their life to change? I mean, it's also quite dangerous what they did, because it's not sustainable.
No, it's
Firstly,
not. But the
you know.
fact that you, like, I mean, let's rewind for a second. You mentioned that you got angry. You got angry about the fact that,
Yeah.
you know, how dare they believe this, that they can get these things so easily this way. And I know that there are people out there, if they had been put in your situation and they had been mugged and they had been, you know, had something taken from them, they would focus the other direction and gotten very afraid and become more withdrawn and maybe not venture out so much. They would go the other direction. Where you are ready to fight and continue to change and evolve, a lot of people would take that situation and think of themselves as, oh my God, I wasn't strong enough, or I'm not comfortable with this situation. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to go out. You know, they would go the other direction. So I'm actually really glad that you said it's completely natural to be angry. How dare they, they decide to take this course of action, and then you decide to fight forward anyway, because yes, you were hurt, but you're still alive, you're still breathing, and you're still going to figure out a way to get what you want in the end anyway. So that's amazing to me, because there's so many different ways people can take that situation.
Definitely. There's a lot of things. It was traumatic. It's not as if it was something small.
Yeah, of course, that's why.
To even learn how, I mean, it looked like, oh, this is just a small cut, but actually the knife went through, the inner part of my arm, and then it went through to the other side. And so just looking at that, and they were telling me that it was maybe 0.3 centimeters away from, an artery.
Oh God.
And, looking at that, I mean, yes, that's why I'm saying I'm grateful that I'm alive, but at the same time I was angry, because it's not as if I was being reckless. It's just
Yeah.
someone who decided that they think they deserve what is mine. And honestly speaking, what's mine is mine. And so,
And you worked hard
of
for
course
it?
I prayed, and I worked for it, and I prayed, and I know that they will get what's coming to them. So I'm not worried about that. But you have to choose. You have to make that decision. Even to sit and do nothing or be withdrawn, that's still a choice as well. And so the question will always be that, okay, if I choose this, is it going to enable me to, enjoy the best life or not? And really, it wasn't. For me to continue to dwell like that, what was going to happen is for me to be a prisoner of my
Yes.
own life. And really, I can't do that.
It's almost like you
I've
get
been
stuck
through
in that
some,
situation and you can't see a way out of it.
definitely. And yet there's so many other beautiful things to appreciate, being able to talk to people, the privilege to go live and see people. Yay!
Oh my gosh, this is small privilege. I'm actually really excited to be able to tell you a story and then get my audience to get to know you a little bit. So if you wouldn't mind, I know you've got a website coming, but for now, most people can find you either on Facebook or on Instagram, correct?
Yeah,
Those are
definitely.
your two main platforms?
Yeah, definitely. Those are my two main platforms. And then I just like to talk to people. I like the DM and I like to just get an email, basically. With this whole being mugged and all, I had to make some adjustments. So I'm busy, sorting that out. But yeah, basically that's the main way that they can get a hold of me.
All right, very cool. So if you don't mind, is there anything you want to make sure people remember? From everything that we've touched on a lot of different subjects, mostly about courage and standing up for yourself. Is there anything that you really want to leave behind before we close it up today?
Okay, one, to know that you're necessary as a person. You're born for a reason. So no matter what happens, no matter what the situation is, as long as you're alive, that is your opportunity to, you know, fulfill that reason and get paid for it. I'm all about that,
Yes.
which means that you are really an answer to someone's problem. So just because you may be around people who don't realize it, then change. Find other people who can appreciate that, because that's just the truth of the matter. There's no one who doesn't have value to offer, even if someone doesn't have a qualification. And also there's more to you than a qualification. So
yes.
I want people to remember that and know that, stop wasting time to and start living, being the best you, trying to find out how you can start getting paid to be you, because you have value. There's so many things about you that you can get paid for. And it's so necessary. I think everyone deserves that, no matter what happened, no matter what they've been through. In fact, those experiences, some of the things I went through, which I haven't spoken about today, though, are the very reason why I get up and I decided to do what I do now. I thought that, okay, I went through so much stuff. It left me with bitterness. And like I said, another time when we were speaking, that,
yes.
That sourness, I wanted to be like, basically lemons and turning them into lemonade and creating my lemon stand. I figured that, okay, there must be people out there who are struggling with the things that I went through. And so
Yeah.
I'll give them ideas. And in that way, it can help them. And for me, then it helps to take away that sourness as well, in terms of me, because at least I get to be fulfilled and understand that, okay, that I went through this for a reason. And it was so that this person can come out and be free from whatever it is that is caging them. And so I do encourage everyone to know that you have, you've got your gifts, you've got your abilities, you've got your passion, you've got your experiences. So use them, go out there and make impact, and get paid for it. You deserve it, Yeah, that's just what I want everyone to remember.
Very cool. I really, really appreciate it. So, Tshepo, thank you so much for your time. It's maybe, it's almost 7 over there, correct, in the evening?
Yeah, around
Very
7
cool.
in the evening, yes. What
Yeah.
time is it in Singapore?
Oh, yeah. In Singapore, it's like 1:45 in the morning. But you know me, I'm always up. Yeah, I'm always up. So thank you so much. I really believe in everything you said. And yes, every time you tell your story, it gets that bitterness kind of goes away a little bit more. Because as you try and heal other people, you kind of heal yourself a little bit too. So don't be afraid to tell your story. I do want you back so we can talk about that later, if you don't mind. We'll schedule that out. But in the meantime, you take care. And you guys, please follow along. I will go try and tag her in this video so that you can see who she is and learn more about her, because her light is so bright. She's such a cheery person. There's no way you couldn't see your way out of a situation if she's not behind you. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.